Alright, hello, how you doing? My name's Nicholas. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make SpaghettiOs, right there, how to make SpaghettiOs not completely suck. Alright, I've seen plenty of videos of people doing this kind of video, and it's literally they do one or two things. They'll add garlic powder to it and then onion powder to it, and then they're like, that's fine. No, just no, it's not okay, it's not fine, it's not enough. SpaghettiOs are so bad, we really have to put in some effort to make them good. So what we're going to be doing today, it's not hard, it's not simple, and you can replace any of these things that you have with what you have, you know. The most important thing today is making this taste a little more how you would expect a spaghetti and meatballs to taste. Spaghetti and meatballs is usually a very savory, very herby, you know, it's just got a lot of stuff going on in it. And the sauce that comes in this has no flavor whatsoever. In fact, most of it doesn't. So one of the biggest things you can do to help this is to add savory to it, meat. And one of the best ways to do it is to start with making some stock. You know, if you have just beef stock, chicken stock, really anything that is savory and good. And this is what I recommend for making stock or having it. It just stays good for a really long time. You get a lot of value out of it, and it tastes amazing. If you buy this and try this and can't think of a million things that you would do with this, you have no business being in a kitchen, plain and simple. The next biggest thing I would have to say is my best friend Liam Perrin's Worcester sauce. And listen, don't buy off-brand Worcester, okay? Liam Perrin's is literally the original. Like, this is Worcester, and nobody knows how they make this. I mean, we know, but no one really fully knows. So don't skimp to save a $1. Just buy the Liam Perrin's, okay? It's way better, it's good, but this is important. Obviously, we're gonna have our garlic powder, you know, get all that out right here. So we're gonna have our garlic powder. We're gonna have our onion powder. But we're also gonna add some Italian seasoning to this whole thing, okay? And we're not just gonna add it all into the pan and mix it and then be like, okay, that's good. There's a process to making it taste good. Oh, and one more thing. I almost forgot the VIP of this whole video. Okay, now, it does not have to be any tomato product in particular. You can use any tomato product you want. And today, we're going to be using this. The most important thing is that the first ingredient is tomato. You know, what we're doing with this is to make this sauce taste more like it is actually made with real tomatoes. So we're gonna do all this up here and enjoy. So let's see. Starting off, let's get some water. You don't need much water. I'd say maybe half cup, quarter cup. In fact, we're actually gonna dump just a little bit of that out because we don't need much. You just need a little bit. You just need enough to be able to dissolve your bouillon. Or if you're using just straight up stock, if you're using stock, you don't even need to add water. Your stock is gonna be your base. So I'm gonna take a hearty little chunk of that right there. Just gonna kind of put that in there. I don't mind getting this on my fingers because, oh my God, it tastes so good. I'm telling you guys, better than bouillon is surreal. First time you try it, it's gonna blow your muffin cap back. All right, give this a good shake. Take this lid off. All right, little bit of tomato. We don't need much. Like, that's probably, I don't know, just over a tablespoon. And we're gonna give it a little splash of our Liam Perrins. Make sure you shake this because it settles at the bottom. All the good bits. Just a good little dribble there. All right. Now, I see people go absolutely nuts with this stuff. Just like too much. I mean, it is literally, you know, like that. That's good. But you got people out there putting just absolute insane. And you know what? You can do whatever you want, but man, don't overdo it because you're just gonna end up making yourself mad, honestly. And you got to remember that you're gonna eat all of this. Like, everything that's in this pan and this is gonna end up in your stomach. So how much do you really need? Now, the Italian seasoning, I wouldn't go too liberal with it. You know, you want to be somewhat conservative with how you have that. So let's get our temperature up here. And right now we just want to bring this up to a boil. You know, we're bringing this up to a boil. Gotta find myself a whisk, which seems to have been, there we go. All right, so what we're gonna start doing is we're just gonna start mixing this. And you know, if you want, you can add, like, honestly, anything you want to this to make it taste more, you know, authentic Italian. But just remember, at the end of the day, we're literally fucking making SpaghettiOs, so it's not that big of a deal. And don't forget, while you're sitting here waiting for things, clean up. Put things away while you're cooking. That way you're not bombarded with shit when you are trying to relax after your meal. Be productive. Be busy. Otherwise, you're just going to be bored. And then, well, you may as well just be eating normal fucking SpaghettiOs. Alright, so that's going along there. Let's go ahead and open up the can. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful, wonderful. Alright, yeah. Isn't that gorgeous, people? Oh. Alright, so let's keep that stirring. I mean, just give that a smell, right? You can't tell me that doesn't already smell better than anything in this can. In fact, yeah, no. Doesn't even compare. This is going to be a flavor bomb. And the reason you want to bring this up to a boil is mostly to, like, kind of activate the Italian seasoning that we put in there. You know, really get everything familiarized and soaked up and rehydrated, you know. Give everything time to get accustomed to each other. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with all these, you know, random bits of flavor throughout, and, you know, nothing got enough time to really get familiar, you know, and meld and mix. So now that we're boiling, you can see that. We're just going to go right in with the SpaghettiOs. Of course, all the meatballs on top. Wouldn't have it any other way. Get all that out there, because we aren't rich. Make a washboard out of this and start a band. Alright, good enough. And also, don't be a dick. You know, squish these things. You know, make it take up less space in your trash. Do well. Do the right things. Alright. Now we're just going to kind of mix all this together. You know, give it a good thorough mixing. Now you'll notice, you'll be like, oh man, now it's going to be all watery. No, it ain't. because we're about to cook this down. We're going to let this do its thing. We're going to return it back to a boil. We're going to let it sit on the boil until we've got it reduced to a point where we can dip the spoon in it. In fact, I'll show you right now. So we want to get the sauce to a point where I can dip this spoon and do that, and it doesn't run as much. So you see, like right there near the tip of the spoon, we want it to be a little bit thicker than that. Honestly, some people would tell you, be like, oh yeah, that's fine, you know, just whatever. But no. We want this to be thicker. That's one of my biggest complaints with SpaghettiOs. And again, clean as you go. It's not hard. It takes no time, and it's a million times easier when you do it while everything's still warm. And then nobody has to be mad at anybody about dishes or a mess. Just clean up after yourselves, alright, people? It's not hard. So simple. So simple. Alright. So now we're getting back to a boil here. We're just going to let this kind of do its thing for a little bit. Don't cover it. Don't do anything like that. I know, you know, for a lot of things, you just cover it once it starts boiling, you know, to conserve it, and, you know. But we're trying to get rid of as much of this water as possible while keeping all the flavors that have been drawn out of this. And you know what? If you wanted to get really crazy, you know, you could even, like, throw some olive oil on this at the very end, you know, kind of add that. Because olive oil, in my opinion, tastes excellent. So we're just going to let this boil, do its thing, probably fast forward through this so you guys don't have to sit there and watch SpaghettiOs boil. Oh yeah, one last thing. Fresh cracked pepper. Not a lot, just enough. And honestly, you don't have to do that either. Any of this that you don't want in this, you don't have to have. You know, do what you want. And you also don't want to run this too hot either, because tomato sauces kind of like to burn. So you see me like reduce this. Once you got it up to a boil, if you're using like a thick clad pot like I'm using here, triple clad, you do not need to stay at a really hot temperature. You can literally take it down just to keep it at a nice simmer without burning things onto the bottom. Yeah, see, we're getting there. It's not there yet, but we're getting there. Alright, so we're getting close. We're getting very close to where we want to be with this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to taste it. We're going to give it a taste test. Just take a little bit of the sauce right there. Blow on it because it's hot. Get some ASMR there. Not bad. Alright. So, in this last step, this is where you're going to add the things that you feel like you're missing. Alright? So, for this, I need just a little bit more garlic powder. Not a lot. Just the tiniest bit. And this is why I emphasize at the beginning. You know, don't use too much, because you can always add more. You can't take it away. Not without adding more SpaghettiOs. And you don't want to add this in too late. You know, once you get about halfway to where you want this to be in terms of consistency, that's when you want to start checking, you know, because by that point in time, the flavors have begun to mix and meld and do their thing. And that's really the best point in time to find out, well, hey, does this need more? I mean, sure, you can season it at the very beginning, but seasoning is something that you should do throughout the process. And in fact, before we, put this in a bowl to eat it, we'll be testing it before that to see if it needs, more salt, more garlic powder, whatever. But I'm fairly confident that we're not going to need any of that, because what I just tasted did not taste like SpaghettiOs at all. I'm not saying it tasted amazing or anything like that, but it certainly didn't taste like some SpaghettiOs that just came right out of a, right out of a can, which is great. Yeah, and if you guys like this video, I plan on doing more stuff like this. All kinds of different soups, pizzas, frozen things. I really don't eat this stuff very often. It's actually, I'm on a pretty strict diet most times, but right now I'm just broke, and just using what's around and what's affordable, and that is the reality for many Americans just like myself. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. It's awesome. It'd be really helpful, and it lets me know that that people like what I'm putting out there. I don't want to make content that people don't want to watch, and the only way I get to know is if people tell me, hey, this shit sucks. Alright, so now I'm gonna give it one last little taste test with some of the pasta. It's manageable. It's better. I can actually eat this. This doesn't make me want to die. Alright. Now, let's get it into a bowl. Because I am fairly certain that, yeah, that's where we want it. Alright. So now it's time to serve. Pour all that in there. You can make your cleanup a lot easier by using a rubber spatula to get all the stuff off the walls and into your bowl. This also helps you get the most out of your food, because now that's much easier to clean. And remember, instead of just going right in and eating, take the 2 or 3 seconds it takes to wash your dish while it's still warm, while it's still easy. I don't ever want to hear people tell me shit about, oh, well, it needs to sit. No, it doesn't. You need to clean it right now. Don't be lazy. All right. And there we go. My version of an improved SpaghettiOs. And from my experience from doing this before, this isn't going to be bad. It's going to be it's going to keep me full, and it's going to taste better than if I just plopped down and, accepted defeat and ate just normal SpaghettiOs. Never. Never in a day. Because here, we make improvements to this shit. So anyways, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. This is the first video, hopefully of many. I don't know when they're going to come out, because I really don't eat stuff like this very often. Especially not anymore. But as I make them, as I come up with them, or as you guys suggest things, I'll try and make it happen, But yeah, until next time, have a good day.